This angry CCP troll is back. A Chinese influencer in Japan. Another restaurant in Japan has been bullied by him, however this time he bit off more than he could chew. Not only was his account suspended, but local Yakuza members are now calling to get his name. Well, and that restaurant, it became an anti-CCP propaganda base in Japan. So let's talk about what happened, all because of a slogan that says, "No Chinese allowed." Welcome to China Insider, I'm David Zhang. This is a restaurant which displayed a sign that said "No Chinese people allowed" and "No Koreans allowed." And upon finding out about this news, a pro-CCP influencer named Oilhead64Divide decided to once again make another video which will rile up the nationalistic feelings in China over this, of course, seeming like discriminatory slogan. Now, if you remember a few months ago, in August, there was the whole Fukushima water release situation, and this man, nicknamed Oilhead, he actually did another video, which we, of course, covered, and in this video, he said that there's a separate restaurant which said, "Dear Chinese people, this restaurant has fish from Fukushima," and that was also complained by him as discriminatory, saying why he had to put up a sign that said so. And so now he's back for another round. It seems like Oilhead's the entire life revolves around living in Japan, enjoying the freedom of speech and all that gets offered to him, and then uses that to make profit in China by riling up these pro-CCP feelings and to feed the anger of CCP trolls. Just like last time, he first talked about the signage, why such signs were up, and then he went inside the shop to confront the restaurant owner. And of course, here the owner says for him to get out, so he calls the police. When he asked the owner why he wrote such a sign, the owner says that Chinese people disgust him, and he got really angry. So after he was kicked out, he called the police. Upon police coming and investigating, discussing with the restaurant owner, they can't really do anything as this is private property. And according to the police, it doesn't seem like it violated any sort of hate speech, and according to him, that this is discriminatory. Now, the other side, right? If you're in China, there's many restaurants that actually have signs like "No Japanese people and dogs allowed inside." So talking about discriminatory actions, you have to look at what's happening in China. So this isn't some Japanese-only thing. This is a big tension that's been ongoing for many years. So the point here is, really, was the restaurant owner being racist or discriminatory against Chinese people? Well, in my view, no, because he's simply saying that we don't welcome a certain set of visitors. What I see here is that he clearly hates how the Chinese people have been having been poisoned by the CCP, the way that they behave and that act around the world, the aggression from the wolf warrior diplomacy, that has actually drawn a lot of issues and complaint from every other nation around the world, just the way that they behave. And so I think the restaurant owner is more targeting towards the fact that this is a CCP problem and he doesn't hate the Chinese people. Because later on, he actually took pictures with Chinese people and he allowed them to dine inside. So I think if you go there to confront him about the sign, he's obviously not going to let you dine inside his restaurant. Before we continue, Blueberry Creative has started their Christmas and New Year's sale, which now you can get some of the greatest product at one of the lowest price of the year. For example, the Taiwan High Mountain Tea, and you can get the Soha Su Comfort Balancing Set at just $110, which is the lowest price anywhere on the web, including places like its own website and Sephora, as well as products like this Estee Lauder Night Repair Set. Now guys, if you don't know what these brands are, just ask your wife, girlfriend, or somebody in your family. I'm sure they know exactly what we're talking about here. Guys, it's the holiday season, and around this time, if you're still struggling to find that good gift for your loved ones, especially if there are women in the family, well, then come to the shop. At these sets, once you get them, they're definitely going to be loved by those who receive the gift, as well as this is one of the best products out there at the lowest price of the year, so you definitely don't want to miss it out. Now, these are all very limited quantity, so after these get sold out, they won't ever return with such a low price. There's really no time to wait. Now, those that are on sale right now do not enjoy the 15% discount with my code David, but you can still browse and purchase any other things on the shop and still get that 15% for those items. And if you spend $70 or more, you can also get free shipping with all your products. So hurry up, get your gift before Christmas. Now, in fact, after the Oilhead guy posted the video to Chinese social media, on Google, this restaurant was review bombed. And so the owner decided to protest that by changing all of its menu item photos into things like the Tiananmen Square tanks, the June 4th protest of students at Tiananmen Square and such. And so it's very interesting. This has escalated into an ideological battle as well. And of course, Oilhead wasn't going to stop there. He emailed the Chinese consulate in Japan, which he got an answer saying that they've received it and they're in the process of looking into it. So this this has turned into and escalated into a diplomatic communication between China and Japan. And so afterwards, it was found that the signage was taken off. So it's very likely that the Chinese consulate in Japan got in touch with the local government or police, who then pressured the shop owner to get rid of the sign. And so Oilhead once again goes to the shop after those signs were taken down, and he makes a video saying how powerful the Chinese consulate is. And then in the same video, he harasses and confronts and essentially attacks a Japanese person who's trying to, seems like, to try to stop him from being at the restaurant. And then this whole video basically triggered another thing, right? So here's what happened. According to a Taiwanese Twitter user named James Xie, he basically recommended that the Japanese shop owner would put up these very sensitive images and slogans instead of the "No Chinese Allowed." What this will do is anybody that's a pro-CCP troll who tries to film the front of the shop, they actually can't post it to Chinese social media because that would be deemed sensitive political material. And so that's what happened to Oilhead. Oilhead, and accidentally, I think, filmed a scene which contained things like, Winnie the Pooh, the June 4th, 1989, Tiananmen Square Massacre. These things ended up getting his video platform on Bilibili banned, and he also got suspended, I believe, on another social media platform as well. And it turns out that suggestion went so viral on Japanese Twitter, which was shared, I believe, and viewed for 10 million times, and then it got onto the local news in Japan, and then that shop owner somehow heard about the suggestion. Not only that, the interesting thing here is that apparently there's rumors saying the Yamaguchi Yakuza, which is, I believe, the biggest in Japan, the local organizational head in the area, they were on Twitter. Of course, I don't read Japanese, so I can't tell if this is true or not. They started asking for the names and the exact details of those pro-CCP trolls that were harassing the shop owner. Now, upon hearing this, another pro-CCP influencer made a video in his Rolls Royce saying that, things have gone to this point. We've punished and taught the lesson to the restaurant owner, and so we should leave it like that because most Japanese people are rather nice. And of course, this sounds exactly like that he feels scared that Yakuza is now after him. And as for the restaurant, it seems business has gotten better. In fact, if you go in, there's more anti-CCP materials like the June 4th tank. You have these two Chinese athletes who are embracing, and that accidentally forms the 8964, which means 1989, June 4th, again signaling the Tiananmen Square. You can also find different things like regarding Xi Jinping as a dictator. All these signage, it's very interesting. It's become a propaganda base for anti-CCP information. What a great suggestion from a Taiwanese person. Next time you're confronted by a CCP troll, just use the secret move 3000, right? If they're filming you, even better. Just start blurring out things like the persecution against the Uyghurs, persecution against Falun Gong, Tiananmen Square Massacre, Cultural Revolution, all of those politically sensitive topics and tags, you include those, there's no way they're going to make it public in China. So the guy who consumes pomade for breakfast and listens to CCP documentaries for dinner seems to have gotten karma caught up to him this time. And it really backfired. I don't think he's going to be making another video anytime soon. Or at least he knows that there are consequences for him. And this time it seems to severely damaged his income source, which is his video platform. But anyways, after the incident, people started turning this guy. He's an interesting character. They took his photo and they cut it out and they put it in like anti-CCP propaganda. So a pro-CCP guy has become an anti-CCP symbol. They include it with things like Xi Jinping is a dictator, or FU Xi Jinping kind of things, or 1989 again. So basically they just took his photo and used him as endorsement for anything that's anti-CCP. And of course, this incident didn't earn any brownie points for Chinese people living in Japan. And I understand, right? Not every Chinese person living in Japan feels this way about the restaurant or even feels like the same guys, what he's going through. But it is very interesting because the image of the Chinese people around the world has been severely destroyed, and the reputation also damaged because of how the Chinese Communist Party has portrayed itself on the world stage. Now, this again, you have to separate the party and the government and the people, right? And obviously you have these very angry trolls, but then you also have regular people who are Chinese living in Japan or anywhere else that don't align, especially those that are fighting against the CCP's brutal suppression of populations. You have the victims as well. So this isn't to say that this is somehow endorsing the discrimination, but this again is a very interesting thing because you're letting a very small group of people represent your entire national identity, and that is just aggression, wolf warrior diplomacy, and persecution and whatnot. And so are you going to let that define what is considered a Chinese person? And of course, the context to this is that there's an ongoing tension in Japan and China. As recent as the Fukushima water release, we saw a bunch of things like the fish ban, seafood product ban, imports from Japan to China. And so this is an ongoing situation. It's not going to stop or die down. But that isn't to say that this event should somehow define, the rest of the China and Japanese relationship. But I think it's very interesting because we see that the CCP has pissed off every neighboring country it's gotten in touch with, and it never turns out well. All right, that's it today for the episode on the oil head guy in Japan who's, again, making a lot of trouble with the Japanese people, and definitely not a good image for the Chinese people. If you enjoy the content, leave a like, comment below your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel today. Until next time, bye-bye.